8 Best Books About Cannabis. In the following article, we are going to talk about 8 of our favorite best books about cannabis for both experienced and novice consumers. In cities such as Seattle, Denver, and Los Angeles, purchasing marijuana is as simple as entering a store and searching for buds. What was formerly restricted to shady dealings with a buddy's friend's friend is now as simple and refined as contacting a budtender. With more states legalizing the recreational use of marijuana and more consumers ingesting pot products and purchasing smoking equipment for the first time, we decided to compile a list of the finest books we could find on the subject. There's even a book of Action Bronson's odd, stoned ramblings on his beloved flower. This book contains everything from marijuana's path to legalization to fantastic recipes that happen to use weed. Bong Appetit: Mastering the Art of Cooking with Weed. A cookbook. Bong Appetit is the place to go if you've ever been fascinated about cooking with cannabis or consuming cannabis products other than brownies or candies. Written by the editors of Munchies, also known as the team behind the Viceland series of the same name. Bong Appetit has 65 cannabis-infused dishes. From French bread pizza to raspberry and peach pie, these dishes, and not their hidden ingredient, will leave you famished. In addition, rather than merely identifying the ingredients, Bong Appetit explains the science behind making marijuana butter, allowing even inexperienced consumers to partake in the pleasure. Yes, Bong Appetit is without any clue one of the best books about cannabis we ever read. The Leafly Guide to Cannabis, a handbook for the modern consumer. With over 10 million visitors a month and over 40 million page views on its online and mobile platforms, Leafly is a wildly popular cannabis resource. No wonder, therefore, that their handbook, The Leafly Guide to Cannabis, has gained such acclaim as a resource for novice and seasoned cannabis consumers. With this reliable handbook in your pocket, you will be able to confidently navigate the bizarre world of marijuana, knowing which strains to ingest and how to eat them to attain your desired high. Grassroots: The Rise and Fall and Rise of Marijuana in America. In her first book, Emily Dufton explores the history of marijuana in the United States. Though it may seem like a good moment to rejoice from the pro-marijuana perspective, don't light up those celebratory pre-rolled cigarettes just yet. Even if more states have legalized marijuana for recreational use, history indicates that the struggle is far from done. According to Dufton's study, a comparable situation occurred in the 1970s when resolute pro-marijuana protesters fought against prohibition, only to collapse shortly thereafter. Grassroots chronicles the story of America's roller coaster history with marijuana and provides commentary on the current situation of U.S. drug legislation. Marijuana Grower's Handbook: Your complete guide for medical and personal marijuana cultivation. In this 510-page grower's guide, Ed Rosenthal covers the science and technique of effective marijuana growth. Rosenthal covers the newest technologies and strategies to help you produce effectively, guaranteeing that your crop is not only successful, but also potent, whether or not you intend to grow inside or outdoors, recreationally or professionally. Why prune and water a bonsai tree when you might prune and water something more practical? Rosenthal's Marijuana Grower's Handbook is a must-have for people wishing to enter the marijuana production industry, since it has over 600 reviews, 81% of which awarded 5 out of 5 stars on Amazon, and acclaim from the New York Times and the iconic Tommy Chong. We are sure that you will also find it in your list of the best books about cannabis. Higher Etiquette: A Guide to the World of Cannabis, from dispensaries to dinner parties. As marijuana use becomes less stigmatized, Lizzie Post's guide on cannabis etiquette becomes more pertinent. How and when does a consumer, as well as what are the appropriate and considerate ways to do so? Post's book is a quirky twist on the original Emily Post recommendations, and it takes an entertaining look at how to approach cannabis in 2020 and even beyond. Green: A Field Guide to Marijuana. This enormous side table book by Dan Michaels, with photographs by Eric Christensen, is as thorough and gorgeous as it is useful as a gift or for personal use. Michaels and Christensen break down, identify, and enhance marijuana over the course of 408 pages. Primer and buds are the two primary portions of the color green. The first segment, titled Primer, is more of an introduction, including practical information and images of marijuana. The bud section then delves deeper, providing an in-depth look at over 150 distinct marijuana strains. Prepare yourself for images so close that you will finally comprehend how a plant can be both green and purple. Green, A Field Guide to Marijuana, is definitely one of the best books about cannabis. Brave New Weed. Adventures into the uncharted world of cannabis. The past of marijuana is evident, yet what about its future? This is the question Joe Dolce's book, Brave New Weed, attempts to address. This well-researched book examines the social, historical, and cultural elements of this ever-popular substance through the lens of the past. However, unlike the majority of the other books on our list, Brave New Weed doesn't really begin and conclude in America. During the process of writing this book, Dulce traveled to places like Amsterdam and Israel in an effort to have a better understanding of how the cannabis industry would develop after Prohibition is repealed. Stoned Beyond Belief. The most recent book by Action Bronson, Stoned Beyond Belief, has recipes, extensive research, comics, and musings about marijuana in general. Stoned Beyond Belief is a type of love letter to the substance that, according to Bronson, revolutionized his life. It attempts to cover practically every aspect of the greater cannabis culture. In this wild voyage of a book, you'll find 35 unique recipes, quirky artwork, and stunning photographs. And, as always, anticipate Bronson's unrivaled wit to permeate each and every line. If you enjoyed our article on best books about cannabis, you can try also to check our marijuana and coffee article. There is no doubt that you will enjoy smoking cannabis and drinking coffee while reading one of the excellent books above.